Okay, it is 6 p.m. August 5th, 2026. Going to first open up our regular meeting for county business. Roll call, please.
Patrick Brown, Jim Weisman.
Present.
Ryan Goodspeed.
Here.
Casey Deck.
Here.
Fred Toby.
Here.
Kyle LaShane.
Here.
Jack Beckler.
Here. Calendar of upcoming events. The next scheduled commissioners meeting is Monday, August 17th, 2026 at 8:30. And our next county council meeting will be the budget appeals on Wednesday, August 19th, 2026 at 6 p.m. First up, we have adoption of meeting minutes for the regularly held meeting on July 8th as presented or amended. If everyone had a moment to look, we'll entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion.
Machine with the motion, do I have a second?
I'll second.
Casey with the second, all in favor? 6-0, minutes approved. At this point, we're going to go ahead and open the floor for public comment regarding agenda items that are set for action. Does anyone have anything to say? Has anybody signed up? All clear? Thank you, David. All right. Matters requested for action. First up, Judge Body is.
He's 5 minutes out.
I was gonna say, you just sent me a text, so.
Sheriff Eflin.
Which one do you want first? Origin step or the contract?
We have, doesn't matter to me, but we have Origin tablets, workforce development, and the sheriff contract for 2027.
This is the sheriff contract that was approved by the commissioners Monday. Just increases my pay from the minimum that's put out there by the state, which is 50%, based on our population, to 55.
Have a motion to approve the sheriff's contract. Or would you guys like a more moment to look it over? It's typically pretty much every year, right? If ever changes the percentage.
It starts at, after you win the election, then you have a new contract for 4 years. And so I'm unopposed, so it's in anticipatory of 2027 through 31.
Move to approve contract.
Weisman with the motion, do I have a second?
Second.
Ryan Goodspeed with a second. Roll call vote, please.
Jim Weisman.
Yes.
Ryan Goodspeed.
Aye.
Casey Deck.
Yes.
Fred Toby.
Yeah.
Kyle LaShane.
Yeah.
And Jack Beckler.
Yes. Contract approved, 6-0.
The next thing we were gonna talk about was the origin tablets that we talked a couple months ago about, and using opioid funds to help bring those into jail. I brought Augie from Origin. He's gonna talk to you a little bit more about them. I know I briefly touched on it, but I printed off 3 handouts. I got a bunch more stuff in out tonight, so I'm saving some paper.
Good evening, thank you for the opportunity to speak here. My name is Augie Gillarducci, and as the sheriff mentioned, I'm the account executive with Origin. Origin is a public benefit corporation that's been around approximately 13 years. What we do is work with adult and juvenile corrections in preparing for workforce, education, rehabilitation, which would include substance abuse and personal growth and development. And so just a couple of quick things. I want to be very respectful of time. The overdose crisis that's gone on in this country caused a settlement based upon many, many lawsuits, thousands of lawsuits as a matter of fact. Settlement, I think, ended up being $56 billion. It runs through 2040, and the money is going to be appropriated within it. There's the Exhibit E, which you're probably aware of, that's the National Settlement Agreement, and then that National Settlement Agreement filters down to the 50 states. And then the states decide how they're gonna allocate the funds. So in Indiana, they have decided that all 92 counties are eligible for funding, and it's based upon population and number of opioid-related deaths during the period. And so as we move forward, I just wanna say that this is about, it's about preparing people to release from incarceration, to get on with their lives. Those that struggle with addiction, we need to make sure that that's treated. And that's what this funding in part is for. So it's clear in the national settlement that jails are a priority population. In fact, in the state of Indiana, it is the #1 entry point for people that die of overdoses, is those that are released from incarceration. And in fact, the number is 1% of people that are released out of incarceration will die of an overdose within 1 year. And that's a horribly high number. Even though the jail has a certain capacity, during the course of the year, it will actually incarcerate many more than are in there at any given time. Some are only there a few days and then they're out. So what we talk about is providing evidence-based programming. And that means that this has been tested and reviewed, and it stands to the standards of this will cause change in the patterns that create overdose and continued abuse of opioids. So the Exhibit E has a number of categories, and real quickly, because I want to focus on two. I want to focus on education, and I want to focus on vocation. But some of the categories are that the category D, criminal justice involved persons are eligible to receive programming through these funds. Category F, we can provide treatment for incarcerated populations. And I want to talk about category A, which is the social determinants of health. And so social determinants of health include things like education, because education allows a person to get a better job, at least theoretically. And with that better job, they're able to get health insurance and take care of their physical needs as well as their mental needs. So when we talk about what Origin is going to provide, it's on a fully secure device, which means it can't be used to get on the internet. They can't use it for Facebook or any other thing. They can only use it for the programs that are approved. And so with the education side, I've already made contact on behalf of just gathering information for the sheriff's office, but there is a school district that would provide GED programming. And because of the size and the demand, what we could do is have it delivered through a virtual classroom. So the students would actually be able to use their devices. It's like a secure Zoom call. And they can not only receive instruction for GED, but they can also receive tutoring. So the sheriff can decide every Thursday at 2 in the afternoon, there's going to be a tutor available from the school district to work on math. And then they can log into their devices at that time and receive the assistance that they might need. The other thing that's on the platform are things that support high school equivalency. And by that I mean there are people in the jail right now that frankly, they can't read. So there's an actual evidence-based program in there that teaches reading, as we learned way back in first grade, sounds and letters. And so they can come up to speed on things. They take an assessment, evidence-based assessment. It tells where they place on literacy and numeracy. So if they're at the 5th grade math level, they can actually go to 5th grade in the platform and learn to move forward from that point so that they can aspire to receive the GED, which is high school equivalency. The other thing that the devices can be used for is to work with Ivy Tech, who is a partner of Origins, and if there are some that are wanting and eligible to take some sort of college courses, post-secondary courses to help prepare for education, they can do that through the devices. And then I just want to take a minute and talk about the different vocational aspects that are available. There are literally more than 50 certificates that are recognized that those in the facility can gather right off the devices. So they start with the ONET interest profiler, which is provided by the Department of Labor, because if somebody's never had a lawful job or they haven't had a steady job above entry level, this allows them to explore what things they might be interested in and what their skills might align with. And then it presents them with different careers that they might be interested in. They can watch little videos about those careers so they can see, do I really want to be in HVAC or whatever it might be. They can learn more about where they might want to go. They're able to receive things like CED preparation, so that prepares them for the state exam, also lets them know what a career as a truck driver would be like. There's programs for digital marketing, those that might want to go down that path. They've got business communications, there is OSHA, workforce safety credentials, everything from manufacturing to culinary, so they can get a certificate that they can use if they want to get a job in a restaurant to show that they're a certified food handler. Tooling U provides a certified manufacturing designation that's recognized in all 50 states, so if they want to get a job in manufacturing, this shows that they have some understanding and knowledge of what those processes are. There are 9 different building trades that they can receive pre-apprenticeship from. And those pre-apprenticeships can become paid apprenticeships through the Indiana Department of Labor. So they can get the pre-apprenticeship on the inside and convert that to paid apprenticeship and full-time employment when they leave. There are different programs that teach them Microsoft Office, logistics, maintenance technician, hydraulic systems, and so on and so forth. In all, there's more than 50 of those types of programs. So I would say this is an evidence-based approach to using the funding to prepare people that are in the jail population. We also have a complete resource board and a jobs board. The jobs board is Fair Chance Employers, which have a public statement that they hire people that have a background, and that is for all 50 states. So if somebody releases into Blackford County but relocates anywhere else in the country, they punch in the zip code where they're at, and there's a list of jobs that are available in that area. We help them create a resume on the tablet so they can actually fill out an application when they leave. They have no access to the internet on the inside. When they leave, they can send their resume to accompany an application. And the resource board is everything from sober housing to assistance getting SNAP benefits. They move to a new community and they need some sort of transitional housing. Those things are available to them. The jobs board and the resource board carries with them when they leave, and there's no cost to them. So if they're in the jail only a week and they get out and they're going to go down to Marion County, they can be on there finding different jobs in different places where they might be able to stay or get some sort of treatment, whatever it might be. So I think that's.
Yeah. Sheriff Burkhart from
Hancock
County. They have this in the jail. They have a much bigger jail. They don't pay a larger purchase of tablets. They've actually put that into their budget through their county because they like it so much and seeing results. I think that's what this money's supposed to be used for, is to try to keep people from coming back to our jail. If you look at our jail population compared to the size of our population and other counties with much bigger populations, we're high. We have to do things like IRACs and this to try to prevent them from coming back. I think this will be a big help. The GED, there was 12 back in April when I asked that did not have a high school diploma or GED. So that's a huge thing to try to get a job when you get out. So we haven't been able to put GED classes on inside the jail. So we just have to have people who want to make the trip over here.
Can't they go just on the internet and go to the Department of Education and get a GED?
Not while they're in the jail.
Where's that?
Because we don't let them have access to the internet.
They're gonna have access to it.
They're not. So it's different. It's secure. They have tablets now that they can look through different things that are hooked up to a Wi-Fi. these are the same way. So they'd only be allowed to do the things that are on the program, and then limited with connecting to an outside source. And nobody has to sit there and watch them, because they can only do what it allows them to do.
So we will receive funds from the state.
We already have the opioid settlement.
Oh, it's
funds.
part of that.
Yeah,
It's what
that's
we're
what it
paying
is.
Okay.
I'm sorry, you can tell us one day, how much do we have in that?
What was it, 300 and?
It's restricted to non-restricted.
One was like 74,000.
What's the cost of the program?
I think the number is around $27,900.
A year or one time fee?
No, that's annual.
It was, from what you told me, it was, half of that was upfront for the tablets. And then you don't have to pay that again. The rest of it, it was like $13,000 is annual to continue the program, keep the program and everything else going. And the other unique thing about this too, that what you were telling me, is if they started something when they were in jail, which we get people who come in, don't anticipate going out, or they're on probation and they happen to get out, and they can complete something, they go out and they're have access to it for free on the web.
This is an elective, they don't have to do anything with this.
Correct.
It's elective.
Yeah.
Any feel for how many might?
I'm positive that we'll have people waiting to use these. They're looking for something to do all the time when they're in there. When I sent out the survey, and I didn't tell them what we were getting, what we were looking for, but I asked them, one of the biggest things they thought that we needed is mental health, and I agree 100%. The other thing is workforce development, and then the guys who needed a GED, selected GED. Those are the biggest needs from the inmates, from the things that you don't already have.
So you've got tablets now out there?
We do have tablets. They don't have the capability to do the interface with, to have a class where they can have a teacher right in front of them.
The Origin devices are education only, so they're larger screen, so they actually have little rubber keyboards that go along with them. They're designed for education. The other tablets they have are really, they're more communication type, to call a family or whatever type of thing. More leisure activity stuff, which is important, but it's not the same thing. And just to answer the question, where they'll be deployed devices, as the sheriff said, there's a waiting list. People want to use these. There's certificates issued so that they're earning certificates as they're doing this work that they can walk out of the jail with, they can tell their family about, they can show them to a potential employer. So every time they log on, the data is tracked and will report to the sheriff saying, if he wants to see what John Smith has been working on, it will give him a complete report on what they can do and what certificates they earn.
How many tablets does this include?
This is 20 tablets. The tablets can be shared, so they don't,
So they're
they're not a
assigned to
one-to-one.
individuals.
You can have one tablet shared by hypothetically 4 people, and we can design a template to say that, group A gets it from 8 until 11 in the morning, and so on and so forth. So you can get plenty of usage out of 20 devices.
Me and Aaron were just talking about, say one person doesn't come back to jail. That's your savings right there. And the amount of money that we spend having to prosecute them, defend them, house them, feed them.
Sheriff Burkhart has published that they estimate in Hancock County that they've saved $4.3 million from the reduction of recidivism because the same people are coming back. They've saved $4.3 million over a 4-year period of time on what the jail would have spent and did not spend.
You don't give us a report like that.
I hope so. I can tell you how many people don't come back, but I mean, and it's a longer study, like we talked about with IRACs. We can give you recidivism rates after a year. It's not totally accurate because those same people may have went to prison and they haven't come back, or they're on probation and doing really well, or they haven't been caught yet, or, so it's really a long-term thing. And that opioid settlement money is there for reasons like this. We're trying to help people. And same thing with the other programs we're asking for. If somebody has better ideas to use it, I haven't seen anybody come up here and ask about it. So we're doing our best to try to stop this stuff from happening.
Did I hear you say they could work their way through their GED with these?
Yes.
29,000, but then after.
27,900.
27,900, yeah.
And then after the first year, it's half that.
It was around 13,000 after that.
So the first year is the acquisition of the tablets, and then there's also a fully secured charge card that at the end of the day, the tablets go in there and they charge up overnight and it's locked up so that nobody can get access to it except staff. So that's a one-time purchase too. So if you take the cost of the tablets plus the charge card out, it leaves you at about that $13,000 number just for the licenses to use the content starting in year 2.
Sheriff didn't get access to the tablets to see what they've been doing,
Yep.
that's not true for me, inmate to inmate, they can't look each other up then.
It's administrative access only. Sheriff can access it from his desk computer. He doesn't need a tablet to look at it, but it gives him everybody that's logged into the device, you'll see what they've worked on, whether they were on there for 5 minutes or they've been on there for 50 hours. You'll see exactly what they're doing.
And it's similar to the tablets we already have. We can do that with, I can look at their, log into this individual person and see what they've been doing. Same thing, they have what they call chirps. We got all that stuff through our communication provider, like the chirps and the tablets. They gave them for free because they charged the inmates to use them. So they make their money back that way. This is free to the inmates to try to better themselves.
Also, I didn't have what other counties in the state are using.
Off the top of my head, I don't know. I do know that we've got some places that are using it within the DOC. So I'm not sure of what all the counties are.
I know that Sheriff Hancock was the first, and other sheriffs have reached out to him, trying to talk to him about what they're actually providing. So there will be more. They're probably, I mean, this is early on. He was the first one that had success, and he's been sharing it with everybody. He was the Indiana Sheriff of the Year right around the time he started using it. So
I was at the Indiana Sheriff's Conference 3 weeks ago, I think, in French Lick, and had a tremendous amount of interest that I'm following up with the sheriff's offices, and a lot of that was because of Sheriff Burkhart, who was talking, and also Sheriff Boyd, who retired from LaPorte County. He's a big proponent of Origin.
I've looked up other tablets that might have a similar, do anything similar, and none of them do everything that they do. There are other tablets who do something similar, but nothing to this extent.
What's the life expectancy on it?
5 years. 5 years. They're encased in a military grade plastic, one-way screws, so there's no way they can taper it on the inside. And so they have pretty good life expectancy. Plus, since they're turned in every day, or at the end of a person using it, staff is right there to put it into that charge card. So if there's anything that's happened, there's a involved person right there in front of them, and that deters from it. The other thing is that if the tablets are broken, they can't use them. They're really popular. I mean, if people had a chance to have their own tablet available 24 hours a day, they would ask for that.
How much money comes into that fund every year, Lisa?
I don't know, we have 300,000 in restricted and then 74,000 in unrestricted. And
When do you want to start this?
As soon as we can, yeah. If we were to pass it tonight, we would start getting the ball rolling and get it going immediately.
And from a funding perspective, it's 90 days out before there'll be any money due on this, because we have to have the tablets configured, delivered, installed, and then test it. And then that puts us, you know, generally that's 45 to 60 days. And then the funding would actually be due, or the payment would be due 30 days after that. So,
And this comes with some sort of support, pay break or warranty?
So we have a tech team, yes, there's a full warranty on the charge card and the tablets. We have a tech team that's available for any tech issues that need to be addressed. And then we have an account management team that will be meeting with somebody from the sheriff's office monthly to help them generate reports if they say, hey, let us see what we've done in the first quarter of the year, whatever it might be, but also to deal with any questions or issues that may come up.
That was 10 tablets? 20 tablets. We have the bandwidth out there to handle that, right?
What's that?
The bandwidth, that's not gonna cause any,
No, this, our internet service is pretty good. We've been using it.
I think it's a good idea.
Yeah, I think we have to find all the ways we can to with that issue.
Is this a restricted or first year?
Well, as far as funding, you'd have to, is that restricted, would this be out of restricted or unrestricted?
It's a good question, I do not know that yet.
And the difference is one's restricted, one's unrestricted.
Unrestricted. I don't know the
I would guess
difference.
that the restricted.
I might be able to help with that, get you some information. I'm suspecting because this is all evidence-based, and that's the key, I think this is gonna fall under the restricted funding, so you'll be able to tap that side of the ledger. And I can help you with that, I'll be glad to get the information for you.
So I think we could,
And so they can get like, you're saying they can have like a web person doing classes with them for like a GED, CDLs, mental health issues, like all this can
So
be.
we will bring community partners in to use that virtual classroom. That's one of the things, if we look at what Hancock County has done, they've got 200 community partners. Everything from peer support, which is an evidence-based component. Somebody leaves, they've got somebody to talk to, as they're starting to feel like they might want to start using drugs again. We can bring in peer support, start that relationship inside the jail. It continues when they leave, they know who they're talking to, who's trying to help them. So there's a lot of different community resources that can come in through there. And then there's the standard, so we have the standard behavioral health and drug programs on the tablet that they can just watch and engage with.
I know we have IRACs here, how much overlap is there in those programs?
I think
It sounds like this can do all that they're doing.
I think this, and they could be able to talk about it more, but I think this would work really well with that. There are a lot of things that we just don't see that they do. They're, and Mike talked about this last time, they are the biggest transition, the only thing that I've ever worked with in doing this job, where they were from the jail to the outside, that when, especially when they're on community corrections or probation, that's their job when they get out, to help them with that. But if it's somebody who bonds out, who isn't automatically on any program, they're there to help them, try to get them help.
Well, IRAC's physically present in the jail, correct?
Every day, Monday to
Yeah.
Friday, yeah.
There's a learning management system that's included, and what that will allow is to upload videos that are specific to topics or resources, or a sober living home that wants them to know, hey, if you're interested, here's what our rules are, here's what our application process is, and we build out a catalog of those local resources. So if somebody comes in and they're gonna be getting out soon, or they're gonna bond out soon, they can at least look and start to get a feel for where there might be support for them in the community when they leave.
There's a lot of pros to it, a lot of things that fill a lot of gaps on this side of it.
It does say restricted as, prevention and education programs is used in further restricted,
And that fund's got the 300.
yes.
And we don't know how much we get per year.
I have to look it up.
But we're gonna keep getting funds in those.
anything else, council? approve?
I would move to approve the program as presented.
Restricted funds?
Yeah.
Out of the restricted fund. I have a motion from Jim Weedman to approve as presented. Do I have a second? Brian Goodspeed with a second. Roll call vote, please.
Jim Weisman,
Yes.
Ryan Goodspeed, Casey Dick,
Yes.
Fred Toby. Fred,
Sorry.
You wanna approve this?
Yes. I'm sorry.
Carla Sheen,
Yeah.
Jack Beckman.
Yes. It is approved 6-0.
Thank you. That's all I have.
Just the workforce development. Oh, okay, same thing, I
Yeah.
gotcha.
Good. Thank you.
Good, Sheriff?
Yes.
Thank you.
I guess I'll get by.
Gentlemen, lady, thanks for having me back. Presenting for the Security Committee tonight, we'd asked to be on the agenda. Councilman Dick, you had mentioned when Custodian Westfall had provided some information for the last meeting that sounded familiar. I think that's probably true. We had touched base with you folks on the doors at the beginning of the 2025 term. We originally had some issues after the initial install of the security equipment at the courthouse. I believe two of the doors on the south side and two of the doors potentially on the north side as well were not hooked into the system such that if someone exited the building or did come in from the outside, absent security card buzzing, those specific doors would not give or an alert through the security system to the security officers to let them know that someone had come in or out of the building without appropriate access. So that was our original concern, and when we presented that, to be frank, we weren't overly thrilled with the quotes that we received at the time, so I wasn't pursuing it aggressively, and when the board met, it was a priority, but maybe not highest of priorities. In the interim period, not only is that issue still in existence, we further learned through using the system, a couple of those doors can't be controlled remotely, whereas now the officers could electronically buzz to open or close them, which would be handy to do. I suppose that's a convenience, not a necessity. But finally, the most important point is we found that the specific mechanism that magnetically seals those doors is not to code. And so we do need to make a change in that regard to make sure we're in compliance. Concern on my end is now being aware of that, which we were not before. If we don't take some sort of interventive step, either remove the security entirely and get back to just general entrance or upgrade to something that is to code, we might be taking on liability or perhaps find ourselves in contravention of any insurance programming that we have for the building itself, as it might relate to fire or personal injury inside the building as a result of intentional conduct. So because of that, we wanted to present that to you for consideration. We do have multiple quote options, and there is one additional follow-up that Megan intends to make. The individual that provided the quotes has not been available for the single follow-up after we had our security meeting. I'm going to pass these around, Councilman Machine. The two quotes provided the Verkada system itself for the cameras, the doors. They come on a 5-year or 10-year licensing agreement for their software that helps control the program. And with the 5-year quote we've been provided, we are into year 3 of our 10-year program that we originally signed up for all the equipment. The provider has agreed if we purchase the 5-year program, he will make these new door controls bump up to match with the system that we currently have. So buying the 5-year program will put those essentially on a 7-year licensing agreement, no extra cost. I find that to be the most economical. We were trying to get back with them to see if we purchased the 10-year agreements, if they would take all of the rest of our system that we already have in place for all the cameras and doors we have and bump them up to the 10-year agreement. They've not answered us there. As of right now, the 5-year one would be by far the most economical, If they would agree to do that, that would change my position, and I would recommend the 10-year program to you. Last year, when we did bring this to your attention and consider making the request to authorize Megan to make that purchase, we still had a security fund holdover. We had created a specific security fund and then had a cum cap fund for when the grant for the security system came in. That money, after the 2025 budget year, may have been around 25,000 left in the actual security fund, reverted back to either county general or a cumulative fund. So the additional hurdle we would have now is you would have to authorize money that is not designated now in the security fund to be placed in that fund for Megan to make the purchase. I know you did ask some questions of her about the physical dynamics of the system, but if there's anything I can answer tonight, or about the general need, or about the quote that's been provided, I'd be happy to do that if I can.
So what was the cost if we, so you're saying this if we do the 5-year for the 20,766, they were gonna bump everything to where it would be?
Everything new, the 4 new doors that would be included and the equipment for it, the licensing agreements, instead of the 5-year we're actually buying, they would agree to extend that to match what we currently have in the building. We purchased the 10-year licensing agreements on every product that we have when we install the system, and we're moving through year 7 now. So we'll essentially get a 2 to 2.5 year extension of the cost on the new equipment we'll be purchasing now.
So we still have to purchase the equipment?
Still have to purchase the equipment in accordance with the quote. We're just getting a non-priced benefit, essentially. It says 5-year, but everything new we get is gonna match up to what our current system is. And I thought that was kind of them. And the quote is extremely similar to the one I obtained 18 months ago, and the way costs have changed in general, I'm happy with the fact it hasn't increased. Wasn't thrilled with when I first got it, but again, I don't think fell in terms of security committee quite as high a priority until we learned about the coding issue.
And so is this over the 5 years, or a one-time fee for?
One-time fee, and that covers us during that time period, correct? And again, my hope is, if there is an authorization to purchase, you would augment the record to consider. We could come back at the next meeting if they answer us in the interim. If on the 10-year agreement, they would agree to bump everything else in the building from the current 7 or so years we have left back up to 10. If I do the math on that, that might actually over that period be more cost effective than the 5-year quote. I can't promise they would do that, but I think it's worth asking.
Megan, have you looked at this system?
Yes, I have looked at it, and I've also, I went over things with Wade Humler. I walked through it with him, asked him his thoughts on it prior to the quote, and we did a walkthrough with Matthew Lawton, who is the individual who provided the quote, and made sure that everything would be to what the fire department would like it to be, and work well with all the employees getting in and out, and accessible for people. If you forgot your badge right now, and you guys couldn't get in the building, and you called myself, Elijah, or Tyler Shockey, we would be able to get you in. We can just push a button and get it. And the other thing with that is, right now, if there was an individual that was approaching the courthouse, and they needed to go into lockdown, like we need to lock it down right now, they can lock one door from the phone. They would have to get up physically with the key and go and lock the other 2 doors, which now puts them right by the intruder. At this point, if we do this, they could be in court and get an alert and hit the button, and it's all 6 doors are locked. And there's no access to the building. So I do believe that is a wonderful feature alone. And then it also makes it compliant, and it takes care of everything and alerts all of them. It makes it completely secure where everybody who needs to know that it's taken care of can.
you know if they will do what they're doing for the 5-year on the 10-year?
I need to get a hold of Matt, probably in the next couple of days, I can probably get a hold of him.
He had been, out of town after our last security meeting. I think that was the whole of
And it's just back and forth touching base right now.
That's obviously a liability issue. In defined liability negligence, you have to, if we have it in record that we have a problem and we don't address it. I'm not an attorney, but some of these guys, but to me, that just expedites the fine.
So 5 years, 10 years, 24?
Yes.
That's correct. It's not a huge jump, but, again, I would like them to hopefully make that concession if we did go to that amount, because what we've run into there, Commissioner Beckley, Councilman Beckley, my concern is if we did the 10-year program without them bumping the rest up, then we've got to look at upgrading our licensing agreements on the other equipment 3 years before that expires, and then we're doing them at separate times. And my assumption is, at that 7-year period, that's gonna be our most cost-effective time to do everything. That's what I'm worried about.
In the protection of our employees.
In the public.
I guess I'd like to know if they're gonna bump up the 10-year. I mean, it would really save us money to just do the 10-year.
If it's possible and the council would entertain it, my request would be to, if there would be a motion for it, to provisionally allow Megan to authorize her to have the necessary funds transferred to security for her to make the purchase for the 5-year program. However, wait to make the purchase until she receives an answer on the 10-year. If we do receive an answer such to suggest that that's a viable option, we could put ourselves on the next agenda, if necessary, just to update you on that and make certain that whatever that cost is acceptable to you, that additional $4,000. If you can provisionally do that tonight, to where if the company would agree to bump the remaining licenses up to 10, authorize her to spend the 24, whatever the council is comfortable doing. I unfortunately am not familiar enough with municipal law to know whether or not that type of provisional motion and vote could be taken.
I think we can certainly do a provisional vote. We can probably tentatively approve the 10-year based on what the information given. I think rainy day funds would be doable fund, right? Given this deal
Yes,
with
and
security.
there's also, we have to have our money spent by the end of the year. And we do have some set aside for the towers, but there is still money in that too. We can use.
Well, that would be even better then.
Yeah.
So I think we could provisionally assure you we'll do it. To me, it sounds like the 10-year is the better deal.
Maybe approve, the 5 years is the better deal, but if
The
you.
number's whole.
If they'll bring the other
If the
equipment up to the additional 2 years.
And maybe we could take a motion to approve the 10-year quote now, but only authorize Megan to do that if they bump the rest of the system up. If not, she could purchase the 5 and we would simply come out $4,000 lower than what you authorized, and that can go back into its previous fund.
I think that's good. Bottom line, we're gonna fund it, and that sounds like Art's the way to go, so we got funds in there for that specifically. End of the year, we gotta have that spent, or we lose it, so.
Yeah. Thanks.
Do we need a motion for that?
Well, yeah, let's put it on the record, so I will entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve for the 10-year, as long as they up it. And if not, leave it at Megan's discretion to just get the 5.
You get all that?
Yeah, but is that the total for 10 years? What is the total?
Yeah, 24,
66.
Thank you.
You gonna sell that again?
Do you need me to?
Yeah.
So I make the motion to approve for the 10-year amount, as long as they bring the licensing, if not, then Megan's authorized to do the 5-year, since they've already said they would do the licensing for that.
Okay, I have a motion from Kyle Machine, do I have a second? Ryan Bisbee with a second, roll call vote, please, when you're ready.
You wanna make an amendment motion to use our money?
Yes, sorry.
Right. Jim Weisman,
Aye.
Ryan Bisbee,
Aye.
Casey Dick,
Aye.
Fred Tobin,
Yes.
Kyle LaShine,
Aye.
Jack Beckley.
Yes. Motion passes 6-0.
Thank you.
No, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, folks, talk with you a little bit.
And nothing else for action, non-action, general information, Schaefer Leadership Academy.
Good evening, Council. My name is Mitch Isaacs. I'm the Executive Director for Schaefer Leadership Academy. We're a nonprofit organization based out of Muncie that provides leadership development opportunities so that individuals, organizations, and communities can reach their full potential. I'm here today to provide information and answer any questions about the Blackford County Youth Leadership Program. This started when Warren used some grant funding this spring to bring us in and provide an adult program. That went well, and during the course of our conversations, I told Warren about our youth program. Apparently it's been an interest and a passion of his for a while to do some youth leadership development. So what I have for you is a replication of a program that started in Muncie about 7 years ago and then replicated in Tipton through their mayor about 3 or 4 years ago. And so this is really taking a program that's working in 2 other communities and bringing it to your community. The packet includes the funding proposal. It includes metrics from the program showing you what kind of outcomes you can expect. It also includes a magazine that has a story about the program specifically in Tipton and how it operates in Tipton. I thought that was important because while we do this in Muncie for 3 different high schools, we do it in Tipton for 1 high school. And I think you all probably have more in common with Tipton and Tipton County. Your school system has more in common there than Muncie. So I think it's a really good comparison for you to see that it's working in Tipton and has worked well there. So just a little bit about the program before I take any questions. It is an academic year program. We've already talked with the school system. They're on board, and it has a purpose of teaching students how to learn how to lead, and that's through actually action in community service. So the first semester of the program, we talk with the students about general leadership ideas. We tell them, find a problem you want to solve in your school community or in the community that you live, and come up with a proposal to solve it. And we take them through a process the first semester for a community service project proposal. We bring in principals from the school, we bring in other administrators, they pitch, here's what we want to do for our community service project, they receive feedback, and then in the second semester, we say, now go out and do the project. And we help them and we guide them. And of course, as you might imagine, not only do they learn core leadership principles, but they also learn that leading is not always as easy as they may think. And they learn by doing what it takes to change their community. And so they learn that oftentimes the projects you set out to do look a little bit different than the projects you actually do. And we think that that's important, learning by doing. So this is really about giving your youth an opportunity to cultivate leadership skills while at the same time hopefully making an impact on their school community and the community where they live. So my purpose today is to provide that base information, provide the packet, and answer any questions that you might have.
Is there a limit on how many students can be involved?
Typically about 25 to 30. In Muncie, we run closer to 40, but we have 3 high schools involved. In Tipton, it's ranged anywhere from 15 to 20. And I think their school corporations are pretty similar size. They're Tipton Community Schools. They have 2 school corporations in their county. I think their Tipton Community School is pretty close to Blackford in terms of size and student count.
Is this for any grade level in high school?
We will take freshmen through seniors. We prefer not to have freshmen. They're a little bit young, but we've had freshmen in both Muncie and Tipton. We're going to encourage the faculty. We have a faculty member we're going to be working with in Blackford County High School. We'll encourage them to aim for students who are a little bit older, but we will take freshmen.
What high schools and lower can
It's the 3 high schools in Muncie city limits. So Muncie Central High School, the Indiana Academy, which is affiliated with Ball State, and Burris, which is affiliated with Ball State.
the other high schools don't participate?
Not at this time. The program actually first started in Muncie with funding through the Ball Brothers Foundation. It was not long after, and I don't know how much you may know about this, but Muncie Community Schools is actually operated by Ball State University, at least the school board is. And so Judd Fisher, the president of the Ball Brothers Foundation, wanted to see Muncie Central High School and Muncie Burris High School work more closely together since that relationship was new. So he provided grant funding, and not long after that, the schools actually picked up the tab themselves. They liked the program so much. So it's really stayed focused on the Muncie high schools, because that's where it started.
The total cost is
$25,000. So if you look at the page, review page 3, gives you the program budget, breaks down. That's cost for, we like to provide student retreats. One of the things you want to do in a leadership program is give students a chance to break that ice and take a field day off at school, and so we do that. It's food for the students. They're high schoolers, they're teenagers, they're hungry. We do the program in the evening, so it's nice to feed them a little bit of food. They might have dinner at 5 o'clock and they're hungry again at 7. It is money for the Blackford County High School teacher who will be involved with the program. We have a facilitator, Dr. John Anderson, who will be facilitating, and then money for student projects. So we not only tell students, find a problem you want to solve, we give them a little bit of money to do it. Obviously, they're going to need resources if they want to accomplish something. And then there's administrative costs for us and what we do in terms of coordinating the program and budgets and logistics and all those sorts of things. And that's on par with what Tipton is paying as well. So it's the exact same budget that Mayor Schmicker has been paying for in Tipton County.
They started today. Are you guys out there? Is that an option for students this first semester?
It will be an option, yes. So we're waiting to get officially who the teacher is assigned. So we're waiting for the principal to let us know who that teacher is. And as soon as we know who that teacher is, which I think Warren said we just got.
I think we know. I
Yeah.
think they know.
They know. The school knows. They have not told me yet, but as soon as they tell me who the teacher is, we'll meet with the teacher. One of the things you see here is a suggested calendar, but we really want to work with the teacher from the high school to make sure the dates work for the high school. But they should have about a month to recruit, and that's usually enough time for the other high schools as well. It's important that we have a teacher from the high school, and that's one of the first things they do is help identify the students. Obviously, we come from Muncie. We don't know your students. We don't know your community. So having a teacher in the school system who knows what students might be good options, and it's also there to make the parents and families feel more comfortable. We want them to know that there's a faculty member from their school system who is going to be at every session, who's going to be involved in every step of the way. So really getting that teacher in line is the first important step in getting the school system lined up.
Is the 25 the total cost of the program? No funding from any other sources?
Total cost of the program. And that's broken up into 2 payments, first semester and second semester.
Will it be the 2027 year?
It'll be this academic year, so we'll start this semester, fall 2026, and finish in spring of 2027.
One payment would have to come out of this year, right?
Warren. Oh, there it is.
Where is the, the Economic Development Corporation voted to fund? Where is depending on, where are you at in fundraising for offsetting the cost?
So we already received a check and we got it in the bank from Hartford City Redevelopment Commission. They gave us $5,000. We submitted a request to Hartford City Council. We put a request into Montpelier Redevelopment, Montpelier City Council. We're putting in a grant. It'll be due tomorrow. We should finish up, get it submitted by tomorrow to the Community Foundation. I've sent a request out to wind and solar companies to participate in that also. The commissioners have already put a line item in their budget, correct? And so then we're asking, county, and you know what, you guys might say, well, we're giving through the commissioners, and I would understand that, plus economic development. So right now, that's who we're talking to. We think, I personally believe that the community should fund this for the students, not just another school program, but for them to understand that the community is putting skin in the game here to help their development. I think that'll be an impact to them, so we just appreciate your consideration on it. The only one that we have is Hartford City Redevelopment, they get $5,000.
So that lowers our obligation to 20?
Right now, yeah, we have to come up 20, and actually, if all things work together, I would like to be able to fund this, and before the beginning of school next year, already have the money in the bank to go ahead and fund it for the next year, so that we continually have this. The kids will have this to look forward to, it'll be able to grow, they know it's there. Kids doesn't play football one year. That program's gotta keep going, so we want this to be like that, something they can count on, something that they look forward to. It's an application process. So they'll have to apply for that, and then the school will be the ones who decide on how to bring it.
So does somebody from your guys' organization come here on every meeting?
Yes, so it'll be facilitated by Dr. John Anderson. He's one of our board members. He's here in the audience, Dr. Anderson. So he is long time youth development specialist and also has taught at Ball State University and Ivy Tech. He was most recently a dean at Ivy Tech. So he'll be here on whatever night of the week he and the high school teacher determine.
Right.
So it's usually one night of the week. Monday through Thursday nights, whatever works best there, and he'll be the one here who's facilitating the program. And then my job is kind of the back end, budget, finances, coordination, administration, website, stuff like that.
And so let's, hypothetically, you get 2 kids that want to do it.
Yeah.
Then what?
That's something we'd need to talk about. I think the program really is only going to work if you have at least 10 students. So 10 to 25, maybe as many as 30, I would say. We haven't run across that in Muncie, and we haven't run across that in Tipton. Doesn't mean that we couldn't run across that now. But that's cross that bridge when we come to it. If there's not at least 10 students, it doesn't make sense to do the program.
And so it's already been funded for this year, you're gonna start
Yeah, we've
this year,
already made a commitment to them that we're gonna go ahead and do it for this year.
and you have 5,000 for next year?
Well, we have 5,000, so we'll try to raise money for this year. Economic development will offset the difference in cost, and then we'll start raising money for next year, this year, so that it's in place by the end of the school year. And that's why we're asking for a line item budget for that, because if you did it this year, then you could either do first or second semester. And then it would also be in a line item for next year, and a line item for the following year, and that's what we're asking for.
We don't have it set for action tonight. Are you expecting a vote tonight, or?
I'm expecting consideration. Like I said, this is 2 different payments, so we have time.
I'm not really ready to do it.
Okay, I was just gonna let you know, we don't have it set for vote tonight, but I think we like what was presented last meeting. Nothing's changed on my end. I think we're still gonna consider it. I think we're gonna fund it. It's a matter of how much, what's the shortage is, what's the.
So the commissioners put in for the whole 25?
Yes, we did.
It's good. I want continuity though, so I don't wanna do the one and done. If we're gonna do this, I want to be sure that we can fund it continuously for.
This is part of the reason I'm kind of asking 3,000 to 5,000 from everyone. That way it's not like a huge burden.
Yeah.
Okay, any, council have any other questions? We have your card, if we have any questions,
Yes,
you wanna
sir.
set this for a vote at our next meeting?
And if the commissioners have 25,000, economic development's committed that much, we've already got 5,000, so we're 55,000, kind of, you know what I mean? Just, we would like to see that broken up to where no one takes a big hit.
Okay. Council? Anything else?
No, I'm good. Thank you for your time, council.
Thank you, sir.
Have a
Thank
good
you.
evening.
Community reports, community corrections,
No report.
report, solid waste,
Report.
economic development. Not so fast, Warren.
I'm Rowdy. Lord Brown, Economic Development. I do have a few things I want to give you an update on. The trail that I've been talking to you about, that the community foundation has funded economic development. We're actually boots on the ground helping get this trail built. We accepted a bid this week. We've already awarded that bid, and we have a pre-construction meeting next week. Brooks Construction, who's in the county doing some work right now for some of the county roads, is who had the better bid, and that's who got awarded this. So we think this will be done before November. The trail should be finished, so we're looking forward to getting that done. It'll be a 1.3 or 1.4 mile extension, almost doubling the size of the trail, and it'll be coming down Park down to next to through the farm fields and cutting through the industrial park right in front of Petoskey. Petoskey is not charging us. They're going to go ahead and do an easement on that, so we can build that with that easement. So a lot of the folks in the community have participated with just easements, so it's made it really affordable for us and kept us within our budget. Really excited to get that going. Another thing I wanted to report to you, the Taze River Economic Development Agreement was tabled by the commissioners this week. They still have some questions on some of the standards that was added to that one that the other ones didn't have, the other economic development agreements didn't have, and we're just waiting to get attorney's opinion on all the questions that they had for that. So that'll be on the agenda for their next meeting. And then, unless you got questions on anything else, of course, we just did a big update on Schaefer leadership. Open for questions.
Does the trail connect to the old trail?
Yes, so the old trail comes down Park and then turns towards the high school. Right there at that intersection, we'll cross the street. There's a house there, so they're giving us permission to build there. If you go out there, you can see.
So it's gonna kind of tee off right there, so
Yeah.
you can't really go one loop.
We don't have it looped yet. We hope to loop it. What it'll do is come down, cut down Park, then head towards Wabash, get in front of Petoskey, and then end up right where the, again, the railroad track is down from Petoskey. Then our goal would be to go ahead and take that across the highway and be able to run that out to Wilderness Park, the Little Ball Diamonds plus the pool. And then another phase, and then another phase, but continue to grow on that. I can, pretty sure I got a decent map that you can read without a magnifying glass. I can email that to you.
Thanks, sir.
Thank you.
Blackford Development, I don't think there's a report. LAPC, no reports. Financial reports, ending cash balance as of July 2026. $3,529,571.69. Total expenditures for July 2026, $613,417.73. Total revenue for July 2026, $190,737.53. I have no additional appropriations. We have a transfer request from Superior Court, $1,400 for maintenance agreement to legal research. I have a motion if you want to make that transfer. Casey Dick with the motion, do I have a second?
I'll second.
Travis Sheen with a second. We'll do a roll call vote on this, please.
Jim Weisman,
Yes.
Brian Goodspeed,
Aye.
Casey Dick,
Yes.
Fred Toby,
Yeah.
Tyler Sheen,
Aye.
and Jack Beck.
Transfer approved, 6-0. Public questions, comments?
We had an ordinance that we needed to approve for Chris.
Oh, we did, yeah. The perpetuation fund, you have a copy of that, or you got that bid?
Yeah, he gave that to us.
You gave it Monday. 1 second.
Yeah.
Entertain a motion to approve the quarter to use perpetuation. Brian Goodspeed with a motion. Or a second?
Second.
Jim Weisman.
Second.
Roll call vote, please.
Jim Weisman,
Yes.
Brian Goodspeed,
Jim.
Kyle LaShine,
Yes.
and Jack Beckley.
Ordinance approved 6-0. Anything else? Okay, now, Peggy.
So I heard that the part-time employee, for the rest of the year got brought up during your last meeting, so I'm just here to request a part-time employee for now to the end of the year.
How much are you expecting that to cost for the remainder of the year?
I went from the end of August, because I know I'm not gonna get anybody right now, so that'd be 18 weeks, for 20 hours a week, $15 an hour, so about, 5,400.
So what was that?
5,400. And that would go from like, August 24th through, I think it's like December 25th. It's the next budget.
I think we established Monday night that we needed an employee.
Council did say they wanted to give them one, so
I would move we approve the funding of an assistant through the end of the year.
$5,400. What fund do you want to pull that from?
Lisa, what fund do we want to pull that from?
Well, just county general.
Okay.
18 weeks, 20 hours, 15 per hour, 5,400. I have a motion from Jim Weisman.
I'll second.
Casey Dickens, a second. Do a roll call vote.
Jim Weisman.
Yes.
Ryan Goodspeed. Casey Dick.
Yes.
Fred Tobey.
Yes.
Kyle LaShine.
Aye.
And Jack Beckley.
Yes, 6-0.
Thank you so much.
Any other department head or anybody have anything? We got it, Chris. No public comment? I'll take a motion to adjourn our regular meeting.
You got it.
Kyle, that's second. All in favor? All for the meeting?
Yes.
Meeting adjourned. Good job. You want to take a break? You want to hop in the We're gonna go ahead and
Now,
open up our two. It is 7:20 p.m. August 3rd, 2026. August 5th. Feels like the 3rd. Still the 3rd. All right. Roll call vote. Please. Roll call.
Patrick Hale, Jim Weisman.
Present.
Ryan Goodstein. Casey Beck.
Here.
Craig Tobey.
Here.
Tyler Sheen.
Here.
John Textor.
Here. Calendar documents have not changed. Everybody should have the minutes from our Monday meeting on August 3rd. Once you've had time to review that, entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Tyler Sheen with a motion, do I have a second? Ryan Goodstein with a second? We'll just, all take a vote. Minutes approved, 6-0. We first have listed Sarah Mann and Kimber Reynolds from IRAX.
Hello. Sarah's been passing out information about our outcomes from 2022, from the beginning to where we're at this year. So there's an entire encapsulation of 2022 to 2026. And then there is one that is just our, I'm sorry, to 2025, and then there is one just on our 2026 to July 31st of 2026. So that way you can understand what has happened and gone on in the jail. And Sarah is also going to discuss specifics to what goes on when they do go out and have a jail visit, which they are out there every day. And the gentleman mentioned earlier, the Exhibit E that the state requires that opioid settlement funds come out of. When we first came to you last year, we discussed that Exhibit E, and we are in that Schedule A and Schedule B from the IRAX program is, so we definitely meet those requirements for the restricted funds.
So, hi everybody. In front of you, what you have, we take a look at a snapshot from inception of the program to the end of 2025. And then for just this year, from January 1st until basically some other night if you've been included today. I just wanted to point out one thing that's significant on here is the amount of matrix groups that have been done. There's a total of 507 matrix groups that have been completed from the time the program started. 30% of those groups occurred from January 1st to July 31st. So there's been a huge uptake in the amount of groups that we're offering and the amount of participation that's occurring in those groups. This second page has a little bit more insight onto what a day looks like when we go into the jail when we're working with someone. It starts at intake, and we find out who is booked into the jail. Probation updates us, and then of course we also have the app. Somebody goes into the jail and speaks with every person who comes in within a week of them coming into the jail. Some of them are sick or whatever, so it kind of might take a little bit longer. We build a rapport then, we establish trust, we complete a recovery capital assessment, we identify some strengths, we start to look at goals, we introduce the program and the matrix group and the matrix model, and tell them what the program entails, and then see if they want to participate, because everything is voluntary for them to participate. If they decide they'll participate, then they are met with once a week. Every single individual is met with a peer once a week. They do ongoing navigation reentry plans, so recovery plans, recovery coaching, peer support. We're gonna come up with insurance, treatment connections, recovery residences, community resources, and then we just coordinate with the staff and community providers to support any transition planning. So what that looks like might be referrals to mental health providers, substance use assessments, counseling, therapy, all of those things. Again, it's all voluntary, so if there's someone who doesn't want any of those things, then obviously we don't force them to do that. Then during reentry, 30 days prior to somebody being released, if you know they're gonna be released, we take somebody in, a community peer, and they are introduced and they do a warm handoff. So they know who they'll be working with when they leave the jail. And then the coaching continues on after that. So we're continuing to help them remove barriers, we can provide transportation, building healthy coping skills, and looking at things to maintain their recovery goals. So, I know that also the gentleman that got up here and spoke about the GED, which is an absolute wonderful thing. There's not a lot of places around here to go and get GEDs. Transportation is a huge barrier. A lot of people don't have Wi-Fi or internet connection. So I think bringing that into the jail is a huge opportunity for us to help them hook up with those kinds of things. I just went in and did some intakes the other day, and I saw 3 women and 2 of them did not have a high school diploma. So that's huge for that to come in there. Recovery is about support wherever you can get the support. It's not a this or a that, it's a this and a that. It takes a network of people to help somebody recover. So we're there to bridge the gap and to provide opportunities when there's readiness. When somebody is ready, then we're there to help them.
What was it, 122,000, is that right? Was the ask?
This is our budget.
They're stuck together. So, currently, we have received 60,000. 50 of that is from Hartford City, out of their opioid settlement dollars, and another 10 from Montpelier, out of their opioid settlement. So we were at, and then we did receive a small grant from the LCC here, and that helps with some of our transportation, hygiene items, and different things for individuals that we might be transporting to treatment or to probation or whatever their needs are. Housing, job interviews, things of that nature. So we are asking for 50,000. And as you can see in our budget, 93% of that goes to employee payroll and their benefits. Another 3 of that, if you look down under the contract services and traveling, about another 3 of that is actually training the individuals, certifying them, making sure they are up to par on the national requirements to become a certified peer, as well as transporting those individuals that they might need. So 96% of our budget goes back into the people.
We also put the current recidivism rate for Blackford County down at the bottom versus the state of Indiana recidivism rate.
And that recidivism, we pulled from the 2022 numbers through the 2026 numbers based on anybody that came back into the jail.
Outside of local government, do you go after grants, any grants, do you receive grants?
Yes, we do. We do not receive any here locally, except for through the LCC. We had, last year, attempted to go through the foundation, and we were denied. So we have not reached out to them again. But our other counties, like right now, we do have a National 4 grant, which is an opioid grant. It's a private foundation that helps with some of our transportation. We're one of 26 over the nation that received that.
Restricted funds look for this too. Restricted
Yes.
funds. What's your guys' plan for when the opioid settlement fund no longer exists?
That is one thing that we are working with the Department of Mental Health on, or DMHA, sorry. Because they are looking at recovery works dollars and how those restructure. So we are continuing to communicate with them and advocate to make sure that people are served.
Because we became accredited with MHAI, that was the legislation that went into effect, that we have to be recognized as an accredited program. So the hopes with that is that there will be more funding that we'll be able to bill for more services than we can bill for right now with recovery works.
For an example of that is, let's say we have an individual that needs navigation services. They need, when they come out, they might need to go into treatment, or they might need to get on medically assisted services. They might need to get their birth certificate and driver's license and things like that. Those are services that we don't get paid for right now, but yet we are still doing that for those individuals.
You guys gonna give us quarterly reports or semi-annual reports? No, we heard this before, we
Yeah.
never heard back from you guys ever again.
He's actually already provided me with what he has done since he took the position in April of 26 to July of 26. So he has already sent that information in, and so he is prepared to come back, get on the agenda, provide reports, all of those things. Yeah.
I'll say this is exactly the type of thing that opioid settlements exist for. So,
And I think we need every arrow in our quiver trying to get a handle on the drug problem in the county and the world. But
we can't save the world.
no, we can't save the world, but we can focus on Blackford County. And if we can save 2 or 3, it's money well spent.
Any questions, council? Do you guys have anything else to add? Do I have a motion to approve the $50,000 out of the restricted fund for opioid settlement?
I'll make a motion.
Casey Dick's got a motion, Fred, in a second. It all works out, Fred. You're on it. Roll call vote, please.
Jim Weisman?
Yes.
Brian Goodspeed?
Nay.
Casey Dick?
Yes.
Fred Toby?
Yes.
Kyle Sheen?
Nay.
Jack Beckley?
Yes. Cruise, what was that, 5 to? 4-2. 4-2. Cruise 4-2.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay. Mr. Hooch?
Yes. So I know, you had some questions, with the public defender budget. I put together a little bit of information here. I did submit the budget with an additional full-time public defender. The front side of that there is showing you the caseload that I currently have and our current full-time has. As public defenders, we're only allowed to take on so many cases per year, and it's not a number of cases. Cases are weighted. I've shown the weights there. So a murder case takes up 10% of what we're allowed to do. It's a rolling calendar, so it's not January to December. So we have to look at it quarter by quarter. So technically, the state only wants us to take on 25% of our allotment per quarter. And then So second quarter of this year, once that quarter was done, the second quarter from last year falls off of my list. So right now, the two of us, 37, and this is for just the first two quarters of this year. So I picked up 37 cases. That puts me at my allotment of 45% for the year, 45.2%. One or two more cases would put me at that 50%. Then our full-time is at, he's got 36 cases right now. He's at 45.8%. Again, we're ideally shooting for that 50%, but we can't always get right to it. On the back side of that sheet, I pulled the stats of two of our hourly public defenders. We currently have 6 that are picking up hourly cases right now. The first one is taking on most of the misdemeanors, low-level felonies, violations. He picked up 51 cases in the first 2 quarters. His billing for the first 2 quarters, minus the June billing, he's already billed $32,010. The second hourly has picked up 22 cases. First 2 quarters, he's already billed $37,648. If you combine those two people into a full-time, you're paying $67,200 plus benefits, so around $72 to $75 total. And they can take on that entire caseload. It'd put them at 56%, but shuffling a couple cases over to the chief or the other hourly, that puts them at an average of 47% for those 3 individuals. That would only leave a balance from the first 2 quarters of about 80 cases that would still potentially go to an hourly rate for other public defenders. And those 80 cases are the equivalent of a 52%, so just a couple percent over what a full-time would be on that. All I'm trying to do is help the county save some money. It's working. We are saving money. It's hard to see it right off the bat. Just because we added a full-time this year, we're still trickling cases from last year and the year before that are still with people on hourly rates. So given that, it's going to take just a little bit of time for that to come to fruition. But I really don't have a dog in the fight at this point, but I think it does make financial sense to see about adding that third full-time and moving forward with that. I have some plans moving into the prosecutor's office after the first of the year of trying to resolve some cases before they ever get to the point of getting a public defender. Attending some initial hearings, maybe working out some things with offenders long before they even ask for a public defender. And a lot of counties do that, and we can do that here. And that potentially will save those 80 cases. Because if there's a lot of misdemeanor cases that we can resolve at the initial hearing, you're saving a ton of money doing it that way, because you're not assigning a public defender. A misdemeanor case, you're looking at a minimum of 5 hours that somebody's gonna bill for that, potentially up to 10 hours. Even if we can divert 40 cases from getting a public defender to resolve it ahead of time, that's what, $40,000 a year that you're saving already. So, and the hourly rate next year does go up by state mandate. It goes from 110 to 120. Doesn't sound like a lot, but hours add up in a hurry. So I'm willing to take any questions you have.
Are these numbers to date from this year?
Those are the first 2 quarters through end of June.
And so the chief has done 37 cases?
Yes.
Correct?
Yes.
And then 51 and 22 on the 2 hourlies?
Yes. And the reason, I know the case numbers look a little odd, why I would have an hourly taking on 55 cases. It's because he's taking on the misdemeanor cases in lower levels, so they don't count as much against him, where myself and the other full-time are picking up the higher level cases that hit us hard.
So by this
already spent the third.
We've already spent the third in 2 quarters.
2 quarters.
Yeah. And it's not gonna slow down. I wish it would, but it's not gonna slow down. In fact, it could easily pick up.
If I'm reading this right though, we have full-time, in the budget worksheet, full-time PD and a chief PD, I don't see
The
that.
147, 840, I'm separating those, so that number is actually 2 of them. So
That
one
would
at
be the 2
70
full-times
Yeah.
at the 67
That's
too.
73,920.
So we do have 3.
Yeah, I put in for 3 in the budget for this year. Right now, we only have the 2 for 26, yes. Let's go to 3, and then we can see where we're at after that.
Yeah, I'm all for that.
I mean, I'd love to ask for 4, but I'm not trying to shoot for the moon. I just think it does make financial sense, and like I said, I've got some plans moving forward of ways I think we can save additional funds, so that's my goal.
Guys, any questions? Anything else?
I don't have anything else. Nope, I appreciate it.
Thank you, Robert.
Yep, thank you.
Al? IT? Different plans? You want to talk about different plans?
Yes, absolutely. Thank you. Second time maybe's the charm. But not asking for anything with any action, but I wanted to bring you at least some information and maybe a different plan than what we initially proposed. I understand that commissioners did like A. Maybe we got a B plan that might work out a little bit backwards with that, but not knowing about that meeting and then just in conversation and knowing where the budget sits now. Here's the reality. I know there's conversation about, and this is some general information. Did a little homework, did a little math for you. Listen. Information. As I understand, we're proposing to replace, possibly come in as a possibly new IT company for you. I know there's some conversation about just hiring an IT director instead of having an outside service. That top page that I provided to you is what, and that's not my information. This is information from the internet as far as average IT salary, which is $20,000 less than what we would pay in the same individual. So when you go hunting, you're hunting in the same pool that we've probably already hunted in. We just divided over many clients so we can afford to pay a little bit more with that. There are not many IT guys in Blackford County. Matter of fact, if you find one, good luck. I mean, that's just the way it is. The reality, the guy that you would want is Chris Painter, who is a stallion, and he certainly does great work and works for Blackford Community Schools. If you go, that second page kind of backs up that 52,300 on that front page. That does not include benefits. You're talking another $13,000 in benefits. So when you're talking about a $79,000 budget, if you're going out looking for somebody, you're at what, $65,000. That you don't have anything, you don't have any backup, you don't have any security, you have nothing that you've paid for, no services. You would actually have less than what you currently have. If you go to that third page, just so to substantiate that number, that's public record. Chris's salary is $68,565. That's the level of individual that you're really looking at that can do everything for a county. And the reality is, Chris can't do the server work because we had originally proposed some things doing for them that he had asked for us to come out and do that server work. So it takes someone beyond that level And when they go beyond that level, the pay's beyond that level. With all of that said, I'm just defending our position because this is how my family eats. Guys, if you go back to the last page, that's a summary, and you saw that originally. We had proposed a 50-hour plan that would take care of everything, and then we also had an unlimited plan. Both of those, as we found, did not meet the budget requirements that the commissioners were setting forward, and they rejected that initial. Here's what I'm proposing. I'm proposing $1. We will work and do the work. Go to 25 hours, I'm sorry, to 20 hours. That would be a yearly budget of $78,999. That's $1 into the proposed budget. That would move it on. Now, the one thing that it does not cover the onboarding. We've got to come in and put our tool sets on 100 computers. You have 13 servers and 8 firewalls. You have a robust, you have a lot of equipment. For a county this size, you have a lot. You really, really do have a lot. So the only thing there would be, and just to be totally transparent, you're talking apples and apples, a lot closer. We got techs on site, and gentlemen and lady, we do all of Jay County's work, we do all of Randolph County's work. If you want to be secure and you want to know what you would get, you call any of those county commissioners, any of the council members, the mayor of Winchester, and the reality is we've had 0 issue. And we saved their bacon on a couple issues. They had a company walk away from them in Randolph County. We had 30 days to step in and take over the entire county. It takes longer than that. The other thing that I think that you're maybe not getting currently, you're in a situation where planning is a big deal. And the reality is you've probably got a plan for updates and things. You saw in that initial proposal, and I'm happy to get you the pictures, your IT rooms look like spaghetti on the refrigerator and somebody was drinking when I mean, it is crazy. We go look at them. They all need work on it. Because right now, if something would happen, it would probably take even, we don't know who did it. It could have been a current company, it could have been a previous company or that. Trying to figure that out will take some time. That would be project work, and I think that's something that you don't have to tackle at all. We were going to tackle it all originally, but if we back those numbers down a little bit, we would tackle it a little bit on an ongoing basis. Maybe we tackle one room at a time if we have hours available that carry over from one month to another. And here's the thing, we're gonna know a lot, and I think setting it with you and planning on a quarterly, monthly basis may just be with one individual that we bring information to. For you to have the ability to plan and budget is gonna be critical in the next few years to go do that. We do that with all 161 clients all the time. We have people that's all they do is sit and have conversations with you, with commissioners, saying what's coming up next year, what needs to be replaced, what computers are outdated that need to be replaced. If you're not getting that, that's the other things that we do. So it's a little higher, I think, a little higher service than what you've been getting. And we went in the game. We're close, we're adjacent, we're just down the road, we're in Muncie. We've got techs and I've got guys roaming around all over the place. So we love at least the consideration, the reconsideration for a different program, and you would be considering that Essentials Plan C that's on that last page. So if that is something that you would consider, what I would ask that either the commissioners, I think you have a meeting coming up on the 17th, either to represent to the commissioners to get this in the right order, for them to bring it back, and or for auditor, just let me know, hey, we're open to this conversation. If Laura and her team is open to a reconsideration of that, I'm happy to come back and present to that, but I think I'm asking really for your direction. If you don't like it, I know how to get back to Muncie. That's not a problem, but I do appreciate the courtesy, very kind. All the information and communication has been just wonderful, and we appreciate it. Thanks for the opportunity. So I would ask just you let me know, hey, please, we would consider this. We like the budget. We like the new number. We like what you're going to do, and please come back and present to the commissioners or stay away.
Well, we're not going to tell you to stay away. Talk to them, and they're gonna listen. I don't think we discussed not considering anything. I think we're looking at different options.
Sure.
Several different options. My main concern, I think, is shared, even if we drop to C, the 20 hours a month is about the price that we could get if we just hired somebody that would give us all their time. 140 hours a month instead of 20. They dedicate their self to everything that we need, I think is kind of what we were thinking. Now, if we're wrong, I get it.
Now,
It seems like
yeah.
what we've been looking at is taking care of ourselves. If that makes any sense. It's nothing against your company. I think you have a great company. I have no doubt it's quality work. We're just considering different options.
And Jack, just so you know, the reality is you, with the products you have to buy, just remember, if you have your own person, let's go back to that front page. You still have the 19.4, the 21.45, those are not things that are gonna come with that person. You still have to purchase those. That is the backup. So the reality is that your number's gonna go up.
Yeah, the 80,000 we talked about was for salary, just for salary. That wasn't for a total package.
Okay.
That was for hiring an individual at around that price tags.
Okay.
Yeah, we took that into consideration, the fact that there's tens of thousands of dollars of
Right.
software.
You've got, yeah, you'll have about 65,000 on top of that. Here's the reality.
We'll have any,
I'm sorry.
which we'll have anyway. We understand that.
Yeah, so, and with that, going back to that number, you can hire a company that's already working with adjacent counties for less than that. Because we can go back to that, we go back to,
You're saying you're 78,000 or whatever it was,
includes all of that.
includes all of these licensing.
Everything on that, when you're talking about that front page, that's us doing all the work, and that includes the licensing. You're saving a fortune. Now, if the thing is, here's the thing, if the hours could always be increased. I'm just trying to get you to, I'm just trying to play to a number that I was given, to be honest with you. So if all of a sudden you need 35 hours, that number could go up from 80, you're willing to go to 145 if you're hiring somebody. If that number needs to go up 20,000, you're still at a savings as opposed to having somebody. When that person that you hire goes on vacation, you have no IT services in the county for that week. That's just, so there's 4 to 5 weeks a year, you really do not have an IT person or will not have services there. We have 42 people. You're never without IT services, and you're never without IT services, especially your sheriff's department. They have services at midnight. When that laptop goes down, we're a phone call away, and that person may or may not be willing to go do that. So here's the thing, if you want to go to a different number, if you go to that last page, there's 35, and you can do some math. You can go to a 35-hour program with that, which just gives you more hours. But I would encourage you to think about starting at 20 and leave it open. Let's see how it goes. We may find that 30 hours is the appropriate amount of time. We want to save you some money, be appropriate, we want the contract. So I think we're open, I guess is my point. We're open to that, some options, of you out there at that, at that 9,800. If you're talking about 145,000 or for an individual, you can hire a whole company for that same money and be protected all the time and take care of those guys all the time. They're the biggest worry. They're always our biggest worry in every county sheriff's department because they're out there all the time and they need us all the time. So, sorry, I'm just trying to make a case. And also, if you're playing with the numbers, you understand that that number is bigger than 79,000. That was the number I was given with that. If you need to go, you climb that ladder a little bit, we can climb the ladder a little bit. But it's just like you're buying lease miles on a vehicle. It's cheaper to buy them up front than it is to pay services on the side, because right now you've got X amount of contract and still paying for some services on top of that. So we want to be economical with it, we want to be fair, and we need to make a reasonable profit just so we can service what we do for you. What else? Anyone see any questions or anything?
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
please.
On your plan C package here.
Yeah.
What would the cost of the computer hardware and software be on top of that $78,000?
We haven't put any other, there's no other budget for any new, if you need new computers, you buy them you buy those would be projected and be charged out per budget, per department. So there wasn't any other, what that included was really everything was on that front page. On that front page.
So the $78,000 is the contract that you're proposing would be for just the IT services, the contract at 20 hours.
Plus all of your licensing for your servers, for all your PCs, and all your cloud backup storage. Right now, we don't know if your servers are backed up in the cloud or not. They might be. Some of them might be. We just don't know. This is comprehensive. Everything is going to be cloud backed up. All your emails are going to be secure. All your data is going to be secure. Everything's going to be backed up and licensed. Right now, no one seems to be really sure if that is true or not. It will be quickly after if we take over the contract next year.
How much was the onboarding fee?
$12,000.
And then this $12,482 annual invoice. That's a yearly invoice as well.
That's just
The one that says to be determined pending county and leave evaluation was $12,482.
that's those are two separate things. The onboarding goes down below. What we don't know is that you right now you currently pay for, that's all your Microsoft licensing. That's to be determined. You pay for that right now outside of your contract. So you would just continue to do that same thing. Then it's a separate item underneath. The onboarding is a separate line item. So it's only, that onboarding is only paid one time. It's paid one time.
I'm sorry, what was the hourly rate after the hours are met on whichever plan?
The hourly rate typically is around $225. It depends on the individual. If you've got a server techs are more expensive than just if somebody says, hey, my computer won't restart.
So $225?
Yeah. And that's a ballpark average. I can get you the exact number, Ryan, when I'd have to do the math real quick, so.
That's fine.
Would it be
Yeah,
possible to
it's-
get a new sheet that I can't read any of this stuff, I'm not sure.
Absolutely.
I'm not sure who wrote it on there, but I can't read
Well,
it.
this was, we were running hard. I found out about yesterday. Sorry, we were putting together, and I wanted.
I just can't read what some of these things say.
No, tonight, if you were open to consideration with that, I have something for you, Ryan. This will help. That's fine. Yeah, it's just, that's got each of those plans. Is that okay? Is that better? Okay. That was my chicken scratch for the notes, just so you, he's really doing that based upon, we were, just doing that, based upon really showing you, I really wanted to show you that it doesn't make sense to hire that individual. One, can you find the individual to do it? And two, it'll be more expensive than if we put something together for you. If we have somebody leave, or your person leaves now, you're without that individual, because it's not a team, you have a individual. If we have someone leave, the other 42 take it over and run with it. That's, so you're always backed up. What else, Jack? Anything else?
No, so you're extremely helpful, you know, we'll just trying to weigh all the options.
Sure, absolutely. We want in, we'll play hard, and, do whatever we can. It's a wonderful community, and I grew up down the street, and the reality is, it's nice and adjacent for us, so I'm not traveling to, Steuben County to, service a computer. It would be handy to come to Parkland City. What else? Kyle, anything else?
No, not right now.
Okay.
Council? Thank you very much.
Thank you for your time. Appreciate it. I'll wait and hear from, Jackie, or from you guys, or, commissioners, or.
If you wanna talk to them at their next meeting, it's,
That'd be great.
this is a process.
You're awesome. Thanks for your time.
Maybe. You wanted to tell us you got an actual quote for the ramp?
Well, after discussing things with, USI, company that handles the ADA compliance of things for the county, our plans for the ADA, and meeting with a contractor, we do now know that it is going to be a large project that has to be, bid out. We have to get bids for, so it will be over 50,000 at least, around that or more. It does have to be, it is because of, it has to start from the door, and it goes all the way down to the parking lot. The whole ramp has to be pulled out and all done. There's not one section. And all the railing has to be updated. It's a bigger project than what we anticipated, and we have to do it because we are liable. And when we have ADA involved, we have to move forward.
I'm not sure how a lot of them quote money.
Sorry, guys.
Why don't you just get some like grip strips?
Okay, so you're gonna get 3 bids and.
Yes, I'm gonna work with, after Lisa's a little bit more calmed down from all the stuff that she has to deal with this, I'm gonna get with her and, she's gonna show me a little bit more how to handle things with that. Cause I've not reached out and got bids before since I've started.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you guys, have a good night.
And we may have roughly 70,000.
Said
80,000.
That's after what we spent the program on.
Yeah, that's 35,000, excuse me, for towers and 27,000 for, yes.
Judge Buddy? You got anything? Or you good?
If anybody had questions, I was here, okay?
So you have questions for Judge?
Same thing Aaron was talking about, right?
Yeah, you got this? It's an org chart for kind of the. Anybody have any questions?
When's the integration, are you planning on trying to do this before we get to the bank building?
Well, first, I'm a little disappointed. The gentleman from the IT company stole my thunder. I also had a spaghetti in the refrigerator reference, and he took it right out.
My apologies, Judge.
That's okay.
Yes.
I'm so sorry. Councilman Dick, what was the question?
Is this something about spaghetti?
I changed my mind.
The plan to integrate these two before we get to the bank building, or is this like an after the bank building?
It would be before the bank building. My understanding, with the process of putting that physical space together is the 2027 calendar year is optimistic, right? We're certainly not looking to have that done in the first quarter of that year. Between the second and third quarter would be spectacular if it does happen, but it is possible it could take the whole year, even going into 2028. So we want to integrate the departments and start that process January 1. They won't be sharing the same physical space, but we want to operate under this structure.
appreciate it, folks. We'll see you back in a couple weeks.
Paul, you want to come up?
Want to, not necessarily.
I understand.
Answer some of the questions you have on that.
Anybody? There's a lot of information passed around today. I think we got a lot. What you have. Does anybody have any questions for him?
Sounds like we own it.
Yeah. Sounds like we might not have a choice.
And the misunderstanding here is Mohi, the town, exists because Mohi, the dam, was there first. And the dam's mostly there because there's 1,150 acres that drains across that dam, which is why it's regulated by DNR. The dam itself, standalone, Mohi only, nobody worried about it. But because it has 1,150 acres flowing into it, it falls under DNR. And they've mandated that we need to update it, and if we update it, it's one thing, they can update it, and it charges. So, and we did have DLC look at it to begin with. Their estimate was 4.2 million. Commonwealth came back in 2 million, and they're staying with that. Now the other, to get to a $300 and something thousand range was because of interest. Put it in a bond.
You said Commonwealth is who you're dealing
Yes,
with?
yeah. They do most of the dams in the state.
They don't do very much.
We're not bigger than it.
We might have it by the time I pass away.
What we've used on projects, and normally what we bid out has been less than what their estimate was.
Well, tell them they can't do that. We don't give them any money for that until they get out there.
Okay, well, that's being held up because of the windmills right now. They actually have the bid on the table, and Judy is a good contractor that got that bid. They put a bridge in for us, did a good job. They got messed up because Army Corps of Engineers declared their wetland, which Army Corps of Engineers had required them to make. It's an artificial wetland. Then they decided that it was a natural wetland and held them up on all of the permit stuff. And I've got a guy with Army Corps that I work with, and he could go on and straighten that out. But it cost him a couple of years because of that. The wetland stuff, which was, there's no wetland there. So the wetland is an artificial. So that got messed up there. I just haven't had any trouble with them. So that's my personal experience. You guys is, I know, with the sewer district and all that kind of stuff is a whole different ballgame. So, but I wanted you to know that it's not, the Mohi Dam is Mohi Dam in name. The homeowners association does pay $30, each house pays $30 to the drainage board, which we've been using for maintenance. It's basically was in the paperwork, it was maintenance. We replaced both spillways in the last 40 years. But it's mainly maintenance of the driveway, put the bridge on the spillway. Every year you have to do some rip wrap work, clear the weeds. Usually there's a leak somewhere that needs to be repaired. So, but it has not been supported by the rest of the ditch. Okay, there's 1,100 acres feeding in, they're not paying anything on the dam, which that can be worked out. There was a lot of those kinds of things, and we've been working with them one at a time. We're down to that one. That's probably, anyway, if you go back to October of last year, you already approved the money.
Well, looking at that and going through, we didn't approve the project, I think we approved the architectural work that's been done, right? I don't think we
Well,
approved
the problem
4.9
is,
million or whatever it is.
yeah, so the 532,000 is out of
general fund
Just take it.
that was to be paid back by the bond.
Yeah, it's no issue.
Just take that and pass it.
So I don't think we approved the whole, how we're gonna fund it and how it's gonna be done. This October 8th, is that what we're talking about?
Right. There was a meeting, I was not part of that. Jim Weedman apparently attended that with Kleinpeter. Do you know who else was with that meeting? Because that was explaining the whole bonding process.
I don't, sorry.
There's no reference anyplace to that, but when you referenced talking to Kleinpeter, then I knew there was gonna be a meeting that way, but that wasn't. Once the drainage board takes the project, it really is in the commissioner's hands, which puts it in you guys' funding. So that's, I'm more of the technical guy on getting stuff done, not the money side of that.
Well, there's gotta be different options for funding, right? There's gotta, a tax levy can't be the only available option to us.
We went through bunches and bunches and bunches of options, and that's what it boiled down to.
Who's we, I don't know.
Mostly commissioners and the different financial advisor people, and you attended one meeting, I don't know who else was involved in that one. I wasn't involved in those. But it's, we do it or they do it. The issue really is the dam, regulations have changed
When you say
over
we
the
do it
years.
or they do it, what do you mean?
DNR does it, charges us, or we do it? They've been great.
What's DNR's estimation for cost?
I have no idea.
What's their estimation on timelines?
Their estimation is that we're gonna do it.
What's their estimation on the, like, I mean, how, you talking a year, 2 years, 5 years, 10
But
years?
they wanted this done 5 years ago.
Wanting it done and doing it are two different
Well,
things.
yeah, but I mean, so it's not, it
I'm
is
just
a
wondering,
high,
I'm
it is a
just
high
wondering what-
priority with DNR that this get done.
DNR, how long it would take them to mobilize, what their cost, I mean,
They would probably just use the plan we got.
and then send us a bill,
Mhm.
and then, I'm just curious as to
Yeah,
how that process will work. I'm just curious.
We can find out.
I would find out more about it, how that process would work.
Well, my dumb question is, if we were to not, I think you answered, make it a bridge, right, just make it a dam. Instead of having a $3 million dam, $2 million dam, why couldn't we just dump 300 tons of gravel or whatever?
Okay, so it's eroded out underneath. So you're putting a brand new house on an old foundation that's broken down.
But this dam will be dug out and.
Yeah, this is talking removing the entire dam, going clear down whatever the footer needs to be and coming up. And the fact that there's a drive across it is only because it can be. It's not
Yeah.
designed with that.
I agree, but
It's big enough structure for a drive, a single drive.
because the dimensions of the bridge are based upon, like I think you said, the steep grade,
Mhm.
the water flow,
So the footprint of the dam would be a lot bigger than it is right now.
and that's how they come to that 22 feet and 160 feet long.
And that's the big thing that the dam failed, is it's not big enough base to begin with. And there's trees close, and so that's why it got their attention to begin with.
Okay, this may be a dumb question, I'm gonna ask it anyway. Is there any positive that can be gained by putting a new dam in? Can we enlarge the lake, make it a recreation area, a reservoir?
There, yes, short answer. We're not doing anything to help that except I figure the only reason the dam is there is because of the sediment that's in the lake is so deep that it's not putting the pressure against the dam. So we put a new dam in there, it can be dredged, and it can be a lot nicer lake. You're limited by what is owned. Okay, if the next door neighbor is willing to sell off more, then yeah, that would definitely be an option. I suggested to the homeowners association, because theirs is the lake. The dam isn't necessarily theirs, but theirs is the lake, that they go to some farm auction and buy manure handling equipment, dredge their lake and sell the equipment. So probably get their money back that way. Otherwise, you're paying a penny a gallon to have that stuff pumped.
But there's no way you can back that lake back across the county road and expand it.
It could be expanded a long ways, yes. And it wouldn't affect the dam.
Well, I'm talking about, you can sell property.
Yes.
And where you have water, you have people.
Yes, that's why that's there. Because the dam was there to protect the ditch, and they built a community right around it, and so that brings us, and my dates were pretty close. The drainage law went into effect in the 80s. They asked for it 85, it was approved early 86. And the homeowners association became an association in the early 70s, like 72 or something. But they're not exactly related. I mean, they're related because the lake is there, but the dam was there, then they built a community. So, and it's there, and the regulation is in places because of the acres.
Just a crazy thought. I was under the impression that Indianapolis Water may help pay for reservoirs, but you have to guarantee them rights to the water if they need it. I don't know how stupid it is, but if we could expand that into a reservoir and have them help pay for it.
We're standing on 10 billion gallons of water flowing underneath us every day.
I know.
It could be sold. They're fighting that in
You
the
don't have
western
to
part of the
sell
state.
some water.
So,
How deep is that?
around 400 feet, 400 to 450 feet. So there's the main Taze River going this way at 200. And then there's a feeder, line that comes right up past Mohi, comes right up into the Taze, right along 200. If you go 200 east to the south, it's all mucky down through there. And that's where the feeder line is, but the main Taze is east and west.
Okay, so legitimate question, going back to the DNR and then doing it. Legitimately, how long do you think? Like if we said, all right, we're not gonna do anything with it, if you want it done, go ahead and do it. How long do you think just?
I think if we said that we weren't gonna do anything, we'd be fined immediately.
Well, I thought you said they would do it in the bills.
Yeah, but they'll fine us.
How much is the fine?
I don't have any idea.
I'm just thinking outside the box.
I'm not-
I hate to put a $250 to $500
We
bill on every taxpayer in the county, when if we pushed it off 4 or 5 years, we could just pay the whole thing out of wind and solar and be done with it, and not raise people's property taxes. So, that's why I'm asking, I mean, could we the can's been kicked down the road for what, 25 years?
No,
anyway?
well, actually, it's
2 or
been
3
kicked
more
down the road
years?
about 5 years since the dam failed. As far as, since the inspection, it's been 5 years.
5 years, so.
But they knew there was issues before that, because I've talked to people out there 15 years ago.
Yeah, well, there's always, it's an item that needs, it's like your house, there's always something that's being done. So,
Tell DNR we'll work on that.
but it became,
Yeah.
well,
We'll do it.
A few more years,
you have to realize that their engineers are working alongside of DNR on doing this, on the design, so that it does match them. So it's not, it wouldn't be any surprise or any new thing to them. It would be just take it over and take it from where it is. It wouldn't, I mean, there wouldn't be much of a lag there because you're making sure that you're gonna meet the standards as you move along. They have to sign a permit for us to do it. So they've been involved quite a bit, and Army Corps of Engineers. I don't think IDEM's involved in this one, because we don't have a wetland. So it's,
Well, it'd be, we can't ask DNR what would you charge us to do it.
we could try.
I mean, it's legitimately, the only benefit I could possibly see is if they do a lot of this, maybe they have contractors that give them a discount rate. I don't know. I've never built a dam before.
It's bid out, the state bids them out the same as we bid it out. So, no, I don't think you'll see any advantage there. The other thing though, that your bonds can be a 20-year bond that can be paid off in 10 years. So when you actually have income come in the county and you want to just pay it off, you can do that. So there's no difference in the cost of a bond that you can pay off at 10 years. It would be a difference if you were going to try to pay it off at 5. But if you're on the market.
But there's still a difference for the taxpayers when they have to pay $500 for 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 years.
That is absolutely true.
So, I mean, there is a difference in that. And then that's the thing, I mean, we've already got a large bond for the courthouse. So.
But it is within what the state allows counties to do. It does fall within that parameter. So, and it's, as a rule, costs don't go down. It just gets more complicated. When they did the spillway the last time, 20 years ago, it was like $80,000. Now we're talking $2 million.
Are you dealing with the same engineers that are doing out there?
It's different individuals. It's just like you go to the doctor's office, if you need a heart doctor, you go to a heart doctor. There's dam doctors, or dam engineers that are, some of them are engineers that are, some of them are engineers of dams and some of them are dam engineers. So.
I'm just curious, Paul, if they're on a septic system out there or individual?
Individuals. That was one of the target areas for the coming system.
Yeah, we'll save that for another time.
Yeah, well, it's there's lots and lots of problems. The trick is to try to just kind of keep them where they're manageable. This one's not easy to manage. But it isn't going to go away.
It takes $3 million to do it.
It's not going to go away. That's the problem.
The amortization schedule's at 5 years.
It'll give you a 5-year schedule.
We're talking yearly payments of $950,000.
The only thing that surprised me is that their estimates of construction costs, and that's just estimates, so we'll see when bids come in, have stayed consistent. And the interest rates are a little stronger than they were 5 years ago, but they're coming off just a little. So
The rate on that wasn't outlandish, 3-something.
3.61, and then it went up to, it went down to 3.57, and then 3.73.
And these are all year-old numbers.
I don't know, are they yearly? See, I just
This
received this.
this was October, it was not August.
I don't have a date, I guess.
Anybody have any more damn questions? Paul, thank you very much. Thanks, Paul. Sheriff, you have anything? Never mind.
Hey, I'll be fast. So this is how I work on budget out on my computer. That first section, first paperclip section. If you go through here, the numbers in the 2026 column were the approved numbers based on the matrix for each one that you go through. If we go, some of them on the salary ordinance are correct, some of them aren't. But this is what we had approved, and this is what I based the raise and all my other numbers that I'm gonna talk about the rest of the time here. The next numbers are the 2027 numbers that I've requested. The yellow highlight, for if you get in the other pages, the first page doesn't have one, is that's the number just going with the matrix if we didn't have the extra pay. The green number right next to it is the additional number, an additional amount of money just from having that extra pay for these employees that are on that page.
Not just the salary?
Just the salary, for that one pay figure. So, if you go through and you can confirm those numbers. The final page is where I did some addition and configuring the numbers. Well, I mean, it's a large budget, so with down here in the right corner, I have the 2027 budget, and that does include the additional pay, the 2026 budget, so you can compare those side by side. If you look at it, it's a $125,908 difference. The extra pay for the employees for that one pay is $70,187. So my entire request, if you took out that one extra pay that we can't do anything about, is only an additional $55,721, which is $101,547.80 per employee, which would be less than a 4% raise if we didn't take the things out of our budget that we took out to make the raises possible. I bring this
So
up.
when you come back in and ask for additional, we're supposed to, we're gonna deny them?
You shouldn't. Because I don't ask for things unless I need it. And running a jail, you're always gonna spend money, you have to. If you don't fix things, you don't take care of the facility, you get deemed by the jail inspector, and then you get sued by the ACLU. But, so that's that page. The one that was underneath it is the salary ordinance with the numbers that are different than what page we have. And even some of those aren't exactly correct. The other papers that I have, the 2027 proposed matrix for the jail and road and dispatch, and then the 2026. So you can look at those numbers to match up with my numbers that we're supposed to do. So it's.
Did you figure out that 27 pay, what's that to us currently? A significant raise, 140,000, that sound right?
Yeah, ours is half that.
Questions?
I think thing is, and the reason I'm bringing this and I present it like that, I make the cuts with very fiscally responsible. To be able to get benefits like this for my employees. I don't do it for everybody else. I like everybody else in the county, but I do it for my guys.
Any questions? You have anything else?
You wanted to talk about, I think this can just be an additional, but the generator, you want to talk about that a little bit. The quote that we had from Titan Electric to do the work, do the swap, do the hookup, do everything, was $26,250. We had Shambo give us a rough estimate, and they said $50,000. So we're gonna present this stuff to commissioners next week, have them select which generator to pick from. The Buckeye one was the cheapest one, but it's the one we have right now. We were told by Titan that it would probably be the easiest transition since it was already a Buckeye, the transfer switches were Buckeye, so the probably hook up similar. So that would be my recommendation to them. And that is about $115,000 total if you have.
Did you wanna put that in your budget somewhere, or you looking at doing something?
Doing an additional, or we can throw it in the budget, but I don't know exactly what the number is yet.
Then you have to redo all your papers.
It's real easy, it's on an Excel spreadsheet. I put a number in, it just adds and carries it away.
Wouldn't it be easier to put it in the budget?
Are you gonna buy it this year?
Yeah, we'd like to get it done as soon as
So
possible.
he's gonna have to do additional for this year.
Yeah.
If you purchase it next year, then you'd have to put it in the budget.
Should have looked this up in last one.
It's something that I still have to have the commissioners approve out of the bids,
Yeah.
so it'll have to be next month.
We could probably, rainy day, with Joe fitting in that.
There's $1 million in there too.
Let us know what you guys decide and.
Okay.
Any other department head have anything? Oh, I'm sorry, yeah.
Just real quick, there were some questions, as far as about what all comes out of the autopsy line. I wanted to let you guys know I did a little bit of digging on that, and it's not just autopsies that come out of it. Currently with us not having a lot, the hospital's not here, we don't have any ambulances, but we do, but they're limited, so we have our funeral homes do our transports for us. That, the way it looks from what I saw, that went from $500 to $550 per transport. That also comes out of the autopsy budget, that he was asking about. The autopsies, went from $1,350 up to $1,500 per autopsy. And I wanted to let you guys know about that. So, although I can't speak for anybody else, I would guess that's why the increase was there.
Would it be advantageous to do the transport yourself if you had a?
I mean, if you guys wanna buy me a vehicle, I'll be more than happy to do the transports. That's something that I was planning on discussing at another time. I'm not currently the department head, so.
How many, and you probably don't have the number off, but just off the hip, how many autopsies, transports do you think?
Like I said, before, it really depends on how many people pass. I believe there was one here recently with the racetrack in Montpelier. And there's a lot of circumstances around that too. I'd say, rough guess, 20, 25 maybe. And that also depends on, for example, if somebody would pass and they already have a funeral arrangement set up, typically we would contact that person's funeral service, and that would be all on them, so we wouldn't have to actually transport that. The ones that we do transport are the ones that we need autopsies on, or say there's no family immediately available, and we have to take care of the people, so.
Keep it 49.
From.
Next year, I do plan on also starting up the autopsy and trying to find a different line for like the transport, so something like that as well, so.
Yeah, maybe we could do that, in a different line item for, so we kind of have a clear picture of where the money's being spent.
Right.
Good idea.
And if I can, while I'm up here, I don't know exactly how it goes, but is there any way, or is it too late to get a line item in for like a dedicated office phone number? Because currently, if anybody wants to contact the coroner's office, you have to either go through dispatch or somebody's personal cell phone, or there's really no dedicated Blackford County Coroner's Office phone number. I didn't know if that could be a landline or a cell phone, something that can get tied directly to my phone.
I doubt that it would really cost, whatever we need to do would really cost that much, it'd probably be something we could do.
You can do like a Google number, like $10.
I'm also thinking about like past me, something where.
Yeah.
I mean,
They
like,
just want a
call
cell
it-
phone. You want a cell phone? Like
Well, I mean, I could do a cell phone too, but I want something dedicated to the coroner's office,
So
something
like
that.
a line that could be transferred
Right.
to you from.
Correct.
Okay.
This is something we need to have in the budget.
I don't think it would be too hard to get it with our current phone system, just to have a line put in. I don't think it'd be hard.
Yeah, but what gives a landline number to?
So my voicemails go right to my email. So when I'm driving around, somebody calls, they leave a voicemail, I check it that way. Maybe it's similar to how he has it, they call, they leave a voicemail, he gets it on his email.
Yeah, who's our phone provider? It's not Main Street.
Would that fall under office supplies? We already have.
I mean, we could do that, yeah.
I say,
We could, yeah.
It makes more sense for a cell phone.
I say we could opt that if we.
What is our phone system? Just
Level 365.
365?
Level 365.
Yeah, level 365.
If we just added a line and then attach it to it, and you'd get notified via email that you got a message.
Right.
Or to ring to him,
We're talking 2027, so.
you can't do call forwarding.
I don't know, I don't
But it's
know.
something we have to look into.
We'll look into that for you.
Okay, sounds good, I appreciate it. Any other questions?
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
John, Laura, you guys,
Not unless you have something for us.
do you have anything for? Any other department head? Okay. So, salaries. What does the council want to do?
I'm still in the same position, countywide, 4%. Whatever the council feels on John's request for the foreman. And then I'd be okay with, Jimmy's request.
I do have something, when Plumer came up here to speak about that, he has on his budget, were 27 pays. But when he requested it, I can't remember what the number was, that was at 26 pays. So.
What was the
For
hourly?
who?
He had an hourly.
For
John.
the, foreman,
Okay.
for the highway foreman.
He had an hourly amount request, didn't he? It was 29.
Well, yeah, like $30
His
if you went at 5%.
His hourly, the number that he gave us, the 60, whatever thousand, was the 27 days or the 26 days?
26.
I think it was.
So it would,
But when I looked at what he submitted on paper, it was 27 days, but when he spoke about it, it was like 26 days. I don't know.
so it could be a 15 or
What he
16,
said.
I don't know, it's not 500.
That's what I was just.
So if we set the hourly amount,
Right,
then it wouldn't, and it was 30, I think, that he was asking, right?
that is correct.
So then I would just throw that in there, if the council was
It's
looking
gonna
at
stay
that.
the same, because he requested that amount.
He requested
It doesn't matter, he requested a total dollar amount, like he requested
for
the
26.
61,984. It didn't matter how many hours it was, that's what he requested.
That's on 2,080 hours. Not necessarily the days. That's how I would read that.
120, 80 hours, is that what you said?
Yeah.
Yes. What he requested, but when he put it on here, he put, 64,368. And that's-
For his request, he put what?
64,368.
64, 58?
68. So
30
that's
hours.
that's at 27 pays.
But when he stood up and requested it yesterday.
That was at 26 pays. Cause he, I don't know, where's that? Cause he requested a salary of 61,984, am I right?
Yes.
So that was at 26 pays. When you wrote it down, it was at 64,368.
I'm not sure. So I was looking at that earlier. What are the little red numbers that popped up on the side?
The years of service. Is that what, by the names, is that what you're talking about? Yeah, years of service. That's just for our, we can take that out.
No.
It's just something
No.
from the
Leave it.
matrix that
Yeah, leave it.
we were following, and it makes our job a little easier to do it that way.
So yeah, what he was requesting was $30.94.
I thought it was 2980 or.
He requested, he says 30 would get you right basically 5%.
Yeah.
Okay, the math on what his request is, that was.
Was for 2,080 hours, not 27 days.
Yeah, I did it for 28 hours, it was 30.94.
But that's on.
Cause 27 pays is 2160 hours.
Yeah,
That's
64,
on 27 days,
368.
it's gonna be more than 28 hours.
Okay, the 64th is on 27 pays? The 64,368 that's on here, that's
That's-
27 pays or 26?
It's 27 days.
Oh, okay, I thought you said I had it.
And Dave wasn't getting shorted, right? Technically, it was the pay, we didn't get a pay raise for Mike and retired.
Right.
We didn't up that position.
So we haven't been shorting him for.
27 pays on the salary ordinance, that would be the new set number for 2080 hours, not 33,020 hours is what they're gonna end up getting paid for this fiscal year because of the pay goes on to a different year. I assume that's why we're paying 27 times instead of 26 times, right? They worked it in, they're gonna work it in December, but get paid for it in January.
1 week ago.
That's where the,
Double paid.
but if you give him the 27 pay salary, he's actually getting that on, like, the next year.
If we just set the dollar amount, the hourly amount, it'll work
It'll-
itself out.
Right, like, next year, he would be getting paid 26 times, and he would get a higher hourly rate because he only got paid 26 times. So if we set the hourly rate, the number doesn't necessarily, I mean, it matters, but it,
Yeah, so we set the hourly rate, $30 an hour.
30, is that one?
That's just what I'm saying, I would say, he asked.
he
for
requested
29.
2980 or 30.
I would say do 30, that doesn't get a 4% raise on top of it. 30, and then we do a 4%, my proposal is 30 on that, 4% for everybody, Jimmy's request. That's just.
At 30, that puts him, I don't know what the hourly rate for that.
2160 is the 64,800.
So, 30?
That's.
And now, what's on the table? Sheriff's proposal, Mike Daniel, or Dave, and 30 even, 4% across the board.
I request we vote separately because I need to abstain from Dave.
Okay. That's what's on the table. Discussion?
We actually don't have to go on tonight. Do we?
Well, we'll get a vote on salary ordinance, and we'll get a vote on the budget. Appeals
Because it
night.
has to be advertised by then, right?
And then we'll get a appeals night, and then we,
This has to be
What's about
advertised
the-
by night.
and the final approval is,
Well, yeah, but I have to, it has to be 10 days before the appeals night. This has to be advertised, so I have
So,
to
yeah.
advertise by the night.
we'll take a vote tonight on that tentatively, and then make adjustments accordingly.
Okay, so then do we wanna, I guess, is there any more discussion we wanna have on Dave's, we can do something with that first?
So Jim Weisman's request, we will do that separate. Do I have a motion to set the rate for the foreman at $30? Brian Goodspeed with the motion. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Casey did with a second. We'll do a roll call vote.
Jim Weisman,
Abstain.
Ryan Goodspeed,
Aye.
Casey Dick,
Yes.
Fred Toby,
Yes.
Kyle LaSheen,
Yes.
Jack Beckley.
Yes. Five vote, one abstention. Then, with Ryan's next proposal then, we'll cover all of this.
Is it easier to cover all the rest or have it separate, the sheriff's and the rest of the county?
So, get the motion, everybody clear on what
You're making a motion
I'll
for
make
both?
the motion for both, yeah. Jimmy's proposal on, updated salary, or the updated, matrix for the entire sheriff's department.
I do have another question before we go. Part-time, are we raising that? Are we keeping it at 15? And go 1640? Start out. I didn't know if you wanted that
For-
including, the 4%.
For all the departments?
Yes.
Ours was moved up last year.
Yours
To
was?
20, yeah.
To
20.
20?
How many part-time employees do we have?
If they had like the fill-ins for like the treasurer's office, the clerk's office, anybody else that has skills in.
Voter registration
Yeah.
is considered part-time position.
We have 3.
What's 4%?
60 cents, right?
Three doesn't even know.
So how hard is it to get part-time help at $15?
In this economy,
Yeah,
I mean,
Answers
as hard
itself.
as much as you can imagine. I mean, unless they're retired. That's my part-time help, is retired people.
So 4% would be 60 cents, you just want to go up $1. Increases $1.
That's my next question. So when planning and zoning, when we did part-time, I know this year it'll be 15. Are we gonna raise hers to 16?
If we have to.
Okay, that's just, I'm double checking.
So I get, yeah, adjust that number.
Okay, yeah.
People keep the hours the same.
Okay, so we'll have to adjust her part-time. Okay. Sorry.
Can you say all that again?
You got all that?
Sure.
Do you need me to say it again?
No, I got it.
Okay.
I got it.
Everybody clear?
And then-
You're gonna put the part-time in there also, right, in your motion?
Yeah.
Okay.
Part-time, dollar,
Okay.
4% across the board for the rest of the county.
Got
All
it.
positions.
It's not fun.
So we have a motion from Ryan Goodspeed, do I have a second?
I'll second
Jim Weisman with a second. Roll call vote, please.
Jim Weisman.
it. Yes.
Ryan Goodspeed.
Aye.
Casey Dick.
Yeah.
Fred Toby.
Yes.
Kyle LaSheen.
Yes.
Jack Beckwith.
Yes. Ordinance passes 6-0. All right. Now the budget. Got all the changes that we've made. Is there any other last discussion on?
Did you get the extension change?
Yeah, I just say that's my
It
next
was lowered
question
to
was.
75.
Yeah.
Yep.
Saving 5,000 from their original quote.
What'd they say to take it down to, I'm sorry,
75, and then
Instead of
plus
100.
the 20.
So 95 total.
Yeah.
instead of 120, correct? Okay.
That includes funding that if they intern.
Okay.
Any other changes, corrections, amendments, discussion on the budget? If there is none, I will entertain a motion to approve the budget as we've prepared.
No motion.
Ryan Gillespie with a motion, do I have a second?
I'll second.
Casey Dick with a second, roll call vote please. When you're ready.
Jim Weisman.
Aye.
Ryan Goodspeed.
Aye.
Casey Dick.
Yes.
Fred Toby.
Yes.
Kyle LaSheen.
Yes.
And Jack Beckwith.
Yes, budget's approved 6-0. Council have any other, anything you want to talk about? If not, I'll take a motion to adjourn.
You got it.
Kyle,
Second.
Casey second, all adjourned. Budget workshop is adjourned. Thanks, everybody. Piece of cake.